The story begins with a man frantically pacing through a remote area, checking his watch and nervously glancing behind him as if he is being pursued. He enters a small, run-down store on the side of the road and hurriedly gathers a few supplies. As he pays, he pulls out a worn map and asks the store owner for directions to a place called Darrelstein. The store owner hesitates, his face etched with worry. "Why would you go there?" he asks. "No one who goes to Darrelstein ever returns. It's cursed." The man scoffs, brushing off the warning. The store owner provides vague directions but insists he reconsider. His voice drops to a whisper. "They say a monster lives there, one that devours anyone foolish enough to enter its domain." Ignoring the ominous words, the man leaves the store. Moments later, the television flickers to life behind the counter, broadcasting breaking news. The man's face fills the screen, marked as a dangerous criminal wanted for multiple heinous crimes. The store owner freezes, realizing who had just been in his shop. Before he can react, the man storms back in, gun drawn. Without hesitation, he shoots the store owner and flees, speeding toward Darrelstein. The criminal, whose name is revealed as Peter, drives for hours, the desolate forest thickening around him. His car skids to a halt when a tire suddenly blows out. He steps out to inspect and finds a large thorn embedded in the rubber. Grumbling, he removes it, patches the tire, and continues on his way, now even more anxious. As the forest closes in, Peter spots a dilapidated house standing eerily silent among the trees. He decides to investigate, hoping for shelter or, perhaps, a hiding place. The house is decrepit yet oddly preserved, with a single light bulb flickering inside. Upon entering, Peter notices the room is filled with disturbing paintings of grotesque, humanoid creatures with claw-like hands and wide, hollow eyes. The bed in the corner suggests someone might lie there. But who? And why would they choose such an isolated, terrifying place? Ignoring his unease, Peter sets his gun by the bed and lies down, exhausted. Before he can sleep, a faint, scratching noise echoes through the room. He bolts upright, gun in hand, scanning the darkness. The sound grows louder, coming from behind the walls. A shadow moves, and then, crack, an axe slices through the thin wooden wall. Peter fires his gun wildly, his shots missing the attacker. Desperate, he flees the house, but as he races through the overgrown yard, he steps on something sharp. Nails, concealed in the grass, pierce through his boots. Crying out in pain, he limps forward, the sound of footsteps behind him growing louder. He hides behind a tree, panting, his heart hammering against his ribcage. But his attacker is relentless. The figure climbs the tree with terrifying agility and swings the axe down. Peter screams as the blade strikes him, the force knocking him to the ground. Before he can crawl away, the attacker descends, and with one final, brutal swing, Peter is dead. The attacker steps into the moonlight. It is a girl, her face disfigured almost beyond recognition. Her skin is scarred and twisted, and her wide, unblinking eyes glimmer with a predatory hunger. This is Mina, the so-called monster of Darrelstein. Mina drags Peter's lifeless body back to the house, her movements swift and mechanical, as though she has done this many times before. Inside, she begins to consume his flesh, confirming the rumors about the flesh-eating monster. After finishing her gruesome meal, she resets the thorn traps around her territory, preparing for her next victim. As Mina searches Peter's car, she discovers a blind boy, no older than 12, tied up in the back seat. His name is Alex, and he trembles as Mina approaches. But Mina, curious and oddly protective, does not harm him. She unties him and, in a halting voice, tells him the man who captured him is gone. Alex, unable to see her monstrous appearance, clings to her hand for guidance. Back at the house, Mina gives Alex dry clothes and some food. Though her demeanor is rough and abrupt, she shows an unexpected kindness toward him. Alex, unaware of her true nature, thanks her and asks if she will help him find his way home. Mina says nothing, her mind conflicted. For years, she has been consumed by rage and loneliness, viewing every human as a threat. But Alex's vulnerability stirs something deep within her, a faint flicker of humanity. The next morning, Mina is alerted by the sound of an approaching vehicle. A police officer has arrived, following Peter's trail. When the officer enters the house, he is horrified by the gruesome scene inside. He finds Alex and reassures him, unaware of Mina lurking in the shadows. As he tries to leave with Alex, Mina attacks, gouging out his eyes and slashing his throat. The officer's desperate cries are cut short, but not before he radios for backup. Enraged and desperate, Mina turns on Alex, suspecting he might be a threat too. She corners him, her claws raised, but hesitates when Alex speaks softly. "I know you're scared," he says. "I am too. But I'm not here to hurt you." His words pierce through her anger, and she lowers her claws, uncertain. As the police close in on the area, Mina decides to take Alex to a hidden cave deep in the forest. Along the way, they encounter several obstacles: wild animals, harsh terrain, and the ever-present threat of discovery. Despite her monstrous appearance, Mina protects Alex fiercely, attacking anything that threatens them. During their time in the cave, Alex shares his tragic story of how Peter blinded him and used him as leverage in his crimes. Mina listens in silence, her heart heavy with emotions she hasn't felt in years. In return, she begins to reveal pieces of her own dark past. Through fragmented memories, Mina recalls how her abusive mother's lover disfigured her face and buried her alive to hide his crime. Somehow, she survived, fueled by an unexplainable transformation that granted her incredible strength and an insatiable hunger for flesh. She sought revenge, killing her mother and the man who hurt her. Since then, she has lived in isolation, a creature of rage and sorrow. One night, Mina wakes from a nightmare to find the cave surrounded by police. Their dogs have picked up her scent. She orders Alex to stay hidden while she confronts them. Using her terrifying appearance and brute strength, she fends off the officers, ensuring Alex's safety. However, she is injured in the process. Over the next few days, Mina's bond with Alex deepens. For the first time, she feels the stirrings of hope. Alex, despite his fear, begins to see Mina as a protector rather than a monster. He even offers to help her escape the area and start anew. When the situation becomes dire, Mina risks everything to retrieve a phone from a fallen officer's body. She gives it to Alex, urging him to call someone for help and leave her behind. But Alex, refusing to abandon her, dials the number but does not complete the call. "I won't leave you," he insists. "You saved me. Now it's my turn to save you." The story ends with Mina and Alex venturing deeper into the wilderness, determined to survive together. Mina, once a feared and hated creature, begins to rediscover her humanity through Alex's compassion. Though their future is uncertain, their bond gives them both a reason to hope.